Welcome to the Car Guys, and this week a tale of woe for my original 1991 Honda NSX, which is broken. Yes, I know you love me covering this car for the channel, and in truth, it is one of my favourite cars in the collection. But the reason I've not been driving it for some time is that it currently doesn't work, and I've not done anything about it. One of the downfalls of doing things like hashtag drive every Ferrari and also going on things like the Le Mans Classic trip is that you just don't take care of business back at the Car Guys garage. So join me this week to find out what's wrong with the Honda NSX, do I still love it, and what can I do to get it back on the road? This is my 1991 Honda NSX in silver with a black roof. It's a right-hand drive manual car. It's done 63,000 miles and it was one of the first cars in the UK. I'm happy to say that it is also in an original unmolested condition inside and out. And over the years I've spent quite a bit keeping it in tip-top shape, including replacing all the rear lights and also all the rubbers. The reason is because I love it and it offers a relaxed, gentlemanly driving experience that few cars in my collection do. This is a car that I'm never planning to sell, but sadly, due to time spent away working on this channel and other family commitments, it's not a car that I drive enough, which means that when it developed a slow puncture in the rear offside wheel, I did nothing about it.
Are you serious?
And when COVID meant that I didn't get it serviced annually, I didn't push that either, mainly because, of course, it hadn't been driven.
Not a great plan.
But perhaps the worst culprit of neglect is what happened just a few weeks ago. When respected photographer Rudolf van der Ven wanted to capture the essence of the NSX's pure shape for his book, A Celebration of Supercars, here it is, and came to shoot it at the Car Guys garage in October 2022, I found that the clutch went all the way to the floor, and it therefore meant it wouldn't go into gear, and therefore it meant you couldn't move it under its own power.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me!
So naturally, at that point, I jumped into action and did precisely nothing. Well, actually, that's not entirely true, because during that time, I was trying to find a trusted professional expert in Honda NSXs and servicing to look after the car. My local Honda dealer had been, how can I put this, completely useless and actually scratched the car during its washing. I never really had the confidence with them that they even knew what they were doing, despite being obviously a Honda dealer. On a visit to Bewley, I came across the Honda NSX Owners Club, so I quickly joined up and I found some kindred spirits to pump for information. Lo and behold, the company that they all recommended was NSX UK, based in Surrey. And it turns out I actually knew the owner, Graham, in his alter ego of transporting luxury cars all around Europe. Having found the right long-term servicing solution for my beloved Honda NSX, I leapt into action. It's April 2023, and I'm waiting for car friend Tom to arrive from Ashgood Specialist Cars, who have kindly lent me their low loader to take the NSX to Surrey. So while you're listening to this, I am giving you a montage of the journey, and I can't wait for the NSX to be fixed, serviced and returned in a week or so. It's back! Now I'm sure some of you who have been paying attention will notice that in fact 3 months have passed, and neither I nor NSX UK expected that. So let's get into what's been done exactly. First of all, a full service. And that included a cam belt change, which needs to be done every 5 years. Mine, I don't think had. Also a replacement clutch slave and master cylinders and some fluid, a rear tyre, or at least fix what was the problem with the rear tyre, an MOT and a fog light. That's the work that needed to be done to this car. Now, although that's a decent sized list and a decent lot of work, there's nothing there to indicate that it could take 3 months. Aha! But you haven't taken into account the fact that the new clutch, slave and master cylinders had to come from Japan. And if you own a Japanese car, that means it seems to take a minimum of 90 days to be sourced and shipped from that fine country. It was the same, to be honest, with the internal driver's door handle that snapped off on this very car. That took 4 months to come back. So when Graham said he was waiting for parts from Japan, I knew I was in for the long haul. But finally, here it is. It's back in the Car Guys garage, and as it turns out, the car has been delivered back to me just days before Simply Japanese at Bewley. So I'm definitely taking this car to that show. A lot of people don't seem to rate the NSX, but I absolutely do, and I know that Gordon Murray, for example, he likes an NSX as well, and when you sit in one of these, you can understand where a lot of the driving position, ergonomics and visibility on the McLaren F1 actually came from. One of the reasons why I love this car so much is just how simple and pure the shape is. It's classic 90s sports car, supercar territory. In silver, I just think it looks great, especially with a black roof. That's why I spent 10 years trying to find this car. You've obviously got pop-up headlights, the coolest thing in the world. But for me, it is all about how delicate and beautiful the shape is. When you get in and drive it, which I'm about to do, incidentally, you're coming along for the ride. There's lots of glass. It is such a beautiful, refined driving experience. You've got decent boot space in the back. It's not enormous, but it's good enough. You've got nothing in the front because you've got a spare wheel in there, so forget about putting anything in there. The cabin is luxurious. Everything is easy to reach, ergonomic and focused on the driver. But really, when you see one of these, and it's increasingly rare to see original Honda NSXs out on the road, it's just a thing of beauty. So for the next few weeks, this is going to be my transport of choice. I'm going to retire the Yaris back into the garage, and I'm going to take this out. Now, I know that you like to know what the prices are of some of the things with these cars, so I'll just take you through them briefly now. The parts for a major service, cam belt change and clutch, were £1,300. Labour to do it all, and of course the MOT, was £1,200, and some lovely government tax added in means that the bill was just over £3,000. But this car is now perfect and ready to be driven. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. And here we are then, back out in my Honda NSX, one of my all-time favourite cars. And a lot of people find that quite surprising given how anonymous and below the radar this thing is. But it's just so pleasurable to drive. I've got loads of glass, lots of visibility. I'm in a sort of slightly reclined position. My knees feel like they're a little bit higher than they are in most other cars. They tuck right under the steering wheel. Everything is within my grasp, everything works, it all feels well engineered and considered. And really, this is the first drive I've had in almost a year in this car. But whenever you get in an NSX, it always feels like an event. It feels like you're driving something special, which means it's got motorsport pedigree, it's got all sorts of fascinating collaborations in its history, and obviously it's got that V6 engine, which when you wind it up, and believe me, you need to wind it up to get any kind of performance, but when you do, it's a beautiful thing. It's well damped, the steering is light but weights up nicely, everything around me is easily to hand, great visibility out the back and all around. It's extremely subtle, it's extremely gentlemanly, and it is the quintessential for those in the know type car, which I really do like. I am going to see if I can get one of those new NSXs on the channel and give it a good test next to this one. Unfortunately, Honda doesn't actually have one in its fleet for press and YouTube-y types, so I can't get one from there. So it's going to have to be one of you fine people who lend me theirs. Prices of NSXs have been steadily on the rise. They've always been sort of criminally undervalued. You could pick one up quite happily for £30,000 not that long ago. One of these, an original car. Now they tend to be moving north of 50, 60, 70,000, and I'm sure rare variants are even more than that. The NSX-R, the special, really special secret version, that's now touching £400,000. But you get 85% of the thrills in a standard car. So pay 70 for a good one of these rather than 400. And although this car is now, what, 32 years old? 32! Still feels completely modern. The only difference you'll find driving one of these compared to a modern car is that you don't have tons of touchscreens and unnecessary technology. In this, pretty much everything is analog. You've just got a tiny few slithers of digital for the clock and for the climate control. Everything else in here is good old proper old-fashioned buttons which never go wrong. Apart from the door handle which broke. It took a long time to fix. If you'll permit me, at some point in the future I'll do an even more exhaustive drive and history of the NSX. Jason and I have already done quite a decent video on this, so if you want to watch that, go into the back catalogue. But I think I might even do an even deeper dive on this car at some point in the future, perhaps at the same time when I look at the new car as well. But I have to say, right here, right now, I am so pleased that the NSX is back on the road and in working order. I guess the only thing left to do really is finish the episode with some glorious V6 VTEC beans. What do you say? Ready? Second gear, 3,000 revs. Corner, easy tiger. So lovely. What an engine, what a car. Thanks for watching this episode on my broken and now fully restored and back up to driving condition Honda NSX. Hope you liked the episode. Hope you like what we're doing on the Car Guys. If you do, please subscribe, leave comments and likes. There'll be another episode next week.